The massive alien ship hung in Earth's orbit like a silver teardrop. Its smooth surface reflected the blue and white of the planet below. This was not how Admiral Kim Jun expected to spend his Tuesday morning. "Sir, they're hailing us again," said Officer Han, her fingers hovering over the communication console. Admiral Kim nodded. "Put them through." The main screen of the United Nations Space Command Headquarters flickered to life. The alien that appeared had pale blue skin and large, dark eyes. It wore what looked like ceremonial robes with strange symbols. "I am Ambassador Tolnar of the Galactic Coalition," the alien said, its translator converting the clicks and whistles into clear English. "We come in peace and with great urgency." Kim straightened his uniform. At 55 years old, he had never expected to be Earth's representative for first contact. "This is Fleet Admiral Kim Jun of Earth's United Nations Space Command. We welcome you and are ready to hear your message." "Admiral Kim, my people face extinction. We need Earth's help." The emergency meeting of the UN Security Council began 3 hours later. Representatives from every major nation sat around the large oval table. Screens showed leaders who couldn't attend in person. Admiral Kim stood at the front of the room beside Ambassador Tulnar, who seemed nervous under the stares of so many humans. "Ladies and gentlemen," Kim began, "what I'm about to share will change humanity's place in the galaxy forever." He nodded to a technician who dimmed the lights. A hologram appeared in the center of the table, showing star maps and alien worlds. "The Galactic Coalition is an alliance of 17 spacefaring species," Kim explained. "They've enjoyed peace for over 300 years, until now." The hologram changed to show dark, predatory ships attacking civilian worlds. Buildings burned. People ran. The images were shocking in their violence. "These are the Void Stalkers," Ambassador Tolnar said, pointing a four-fingered hand at the attackers. "They appeared at the edge of our territory 1 year ago. They do not communicate. They do not negotiate. They only destroy." Defense Secretary Lee Day raised his hand. "With respect, Ambassador, your technology is clearly advanced. Why come to us? Earth has only reached Mars so far." The question hung in the air. Every human in the room wondered the same thing. Tulnar's large eyes blinked slowly. "Because you humans know war. The coalition evolved without major conflicts. We built our ships for exploration and trade. We have no concept of battle tactics or military strategy. But humans," the alien paused, "your history is filled with warfare. You understand how to fight in ways we cannot comprehend." Kim watched the faces around the table. Some showed pride, others shame at humanity's violent history. "The Void Stalkers hunt us like prey," Tulnar continued, "but they have never encountered humans. You might be the predator they never expected." Dr. Park Hanna moved quickly through the lab, analyzing the data from the coalition ships. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, she had been called in immediately after first contact. "This is remarkable," she said to no one in particular. Her assistant, Dr. Moon, looked up from his own screen. "Which part?" he asked. "All of it," Park replied. "Their medical technology alone could eliminate most human diseases. Their understanding of biology is centuries ahead of ours." She turned as the lab door opened. Admiral Kim entered with Secretary Lee following close behind. "Dr. Park," Kim nodded. "What have you learned?" Park pushed her glasses up and gestured to the screens around them. "The Coalition is offering us technology that would advance humanity by at least 200 years. Faster than light travel, clean energy, medical breakthroughs, all in exchange for our help." Secretary Lee crossed his arms. "And what about weapons? Are they offering those too?" "They don't have many," Park admitted. "As the ambassador said, they evolved without our concept of warfare." "Which makes this whole situation dangerous," Lee argued. "What if we send our ships to help and Earth is left defenseless? What if this is a trick?" Admiral Kim considered this. "I've spent hours with Tulnar. I believe the threat is real. But the decision isn't mine alone. The Security Council votes in 1 hour, Lee said, and they want your recommendation, Admiral. Colonel Na-hyun walked the perimeter of the alien ship's landing pad. The coalition had brought a smaller vessel down to Earth's surface as a show of trust. Security teams kept curious crowds at a distance. Na was not like other military leaders. At 39, she had risen through the ranks by thinking differently. Where others saw patterns, she saw opportunities. Where others followed rules, she created new paths. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Admiral Kim. Need you at HQ. Now. 30 minutes later, Na entered the war room to find Admiral Kim, Secretary Lee, and several high-ranking officers studying battle footage from coalition worlds. Colonel Na. Kim waved her over. Watch this and tell me what you see. The screen showed Void Stalker ships attacking a peaceful coalition colony. The coalition ships tried to defend but were quickly destroyed. The coalition ships are moving like civilian vessels, Na observed. No evasive patterns, no tactical positioning. They're just there. Exactly, said Kim. They have no concept of military strategy. Now, what would you do differently? Na studied the footage again. I'd use the moon for cover. Split forces to attack from multiple vectors. Use smaller, faster ships to distract while the heavy weapons move into position. Kim nodded, satisfied. That's why you're here. The vote just came in. Earth will help the coalition. Secretary Lee didn't look happy. With conditions, we're not sending our entire fleet. Just enough to make a difference while keeping Earth protected. We're calling it Operation Sentinel Shield. Kim added, and I want you to help plan our strategy, Colonel. Intelligence Officer Kang Ta had been awake for 2 days straight. His office walls were covered with images and data about the Void Stalkers. Coffee cups littered his desk. A knock at his door made him look up. Admiral Kim entered. Sir, Kang stood quickly. At ease, Kim said, what have you found? Kang pointed to the patterns he'd identified. The stalkers attack in waves. First, they hit communication systems, then power, then military targets, finally, civilian centers. It's the same pattern every time. That suggests they're not adapting their strategy, Kim noted. Exactly. They've never needed to change because they've never faced real resistance. Until now, Kim said, Earth will change that. The UN General Assembly Hall was packed, not just with delegates, but with media from around the world. The historic vote had leaked, and now humanity waited to hear what would happen next. Admiral Kim stood at the podium with Ambassador Tulnar beside him. The alien looked out at the sea of humans with hope in its large eyes. People of Earth, Kim began, his voice steady. Today marks a turning point in human history. We are not alone in the universe, and now we have been called to action. He explained the threat and the coalition's request for help. The hall was silent as he spoke. The United Nations Security Council has voted to assist the Galactic Coalition against the Void Stalker threat. We will send a fleet of our most advanced ships, commanded by our best officers, to help defend against this common enemy. Murmurs spread through the crowd. In return, the coalition will share technology that will transform life on Earth. Medicine, energy, space travel, all will advance beyond our wildest dreams. And Colonel Na-hyun sat alone in the darkened war room. The screens before her played the same footage over and over. Coalition ships being torn apart by Void Stalker weapons. She watched every detail, every move, every mistake. You've been here all night, said a voice from the doorway. Na looked up to see Admiral Kim entering with 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to her. Thank you, sir, she said, accepting the warm cup. I needed to understand our enemy. And what have you learned? Kim asked, taking the seat beside her. Na pointed to the screen. The Void Stalkers always attack the same way. They rely on fear and overwhelming force, not strategy. She paused the video. Look here, they expose their flanks. They don't expect counterattacks because the coalition never fights back effectively. Kim nodded. Can we use that? Yes, Ness said, her eyes gleaming. They've never faced humans before. We don't run. We fight back. Engineer Choi-sun wiped sweat from his forehead as he studied the coalition engine. It was beautiful, a mix of technology that humans had only dreamed about. Can you make it work with our systems? Admiral Kim asked, touring the shipyard where Earth's fleet was being modified. Yes, sir, Choi replied. Their faster-than-light drives can be fitted to our ships. But I've also been thinking. He pointed to the weapon systems. The coalition never developed these for war, but we can improve them. Kim raised an eyebrow. How? Choi picked up a tablet and showed his designs. Their energy weapons are powerful but slow to recharge. I can modify them using our nuclear technology to cycle faster, and their shields can be reconfigured to withstand more direct hits. Will the coalition help with these changes? They're amazed by our thinking, Choi said with a small smile. They never considered using technology this way. In his private office, Admiral Kim faced a screen showing a weathered face with hard eyes. General Ba Jin, Kim said with respect. Thank you for taking my call. The retired general nodded. He was in his 60s now, but his military bearing remained strong. I was surprised to hear from you, Admiral. I've been enjoying my fishing. The fishing will have to wait, Kim said. Earth needs you again. Ba's expression didn't change. The alien threat. Yes, you're the best strategic mind Earth has ever produced. 3 wars, 15 major battles, and you never lost once. I'm too old for space combat, Admiral. We don't need you in combat, Kim explained. We need your mind, your experience, your ability to see what others miss. Ba was quiet for a long moment. Send me everything you have on these void stalkers. I'll be there tomorrow. Dr. Park, Hannah carefully examined the tissue samples provided by the coalition. The void stalkers had attacked so quickly that the peaceful aliens had little information about their enemy's biology, but they had managed to collect some remains from crashed ships. Fascinating, Park muttered, adjusting her microscope. What is it? Asked Admiral Kim, who had come to check on her progress. The void stalkers have a unique sensory system, she explained. They don't see like we do. They detect electrical fields and heat signatures. It's why they're such effective hunters. Can we use that against them? Park nodded. Every strength can become a weakness. If we create decoys with strong electrical signatures, we could confuse their targeting systems. How soon can you develop something? Give me 1 week, Park said confidently. The orbital shipyards above Earth were alive with activity. What had once been research stations and commercial hubs now buzzed with military purpose. Earth's fleet was taking shape. Captain Yoon Mei walked through the corridors of the Dauntless, Earth's largest warship, and soon to be the flagship of the human fleet. At 42, Yoon had commanded ships for a decade, but nothing like this. Captain on deck called her first officer as she entered the bridge. The crew stood at attention. They were the best Earth had to offer, young, bright, and determined. At ease, Yoon said, moving to the captain's chair. Status report. All systems are being integrated with coalition technology, reported Officer Jung. Engineer Choi's modifications are ahead of schedule. And weapons. Railguns are operational. Missile systems are being upgraded. The new energy weapons will be tested tomorrow. Yoon nodded with satisfaction. This ship was built to protect Earth. Now we'll use it to protect the galaxy. In the main hangar of the United Nations Space Command, Admiral Kim stood before a gathering of world leaders. Behind him, holographic displays showed the growing fleet. The Aegis fleet will consist of 30 warships, Kim explained. The flagship Dauntless and 5 heavy cruisers will form our main attack force. 20 smaller, faster vessels will provide tactical support. 4 supply ships will ensure we can operate independently for up to 6 months. President Cho of the United Asian Alliance stepped forward. And you're confident this force can make a difference against the Void Stalkers? It's not about size, Kim replied. It's about strategy. The Coalition has thousands of ships, but no tactical knowledge. We have both. What about Earth's defense while you're gone? Asked another leader. Secretary Lee answered, we're keeping 60% of our space forces here, plus our planetary defense grid. Earth will not be left vulnerable. As the leaders continued their questions, Admiral Kim noticed General Ba Jin standing quietly at the back of the room, watching everything with his calculating eyes. The old general had arrived that morning and had spent the day reviewing all available data on the Void Stalkers. Later, when the meeting ended, Kim approached him. Your thoughts, General? Ba's voice was low but clear. The Void Stalkers are predators, not warriors. They've never faced a species that fights back effectively. This gives us an advantage. He paused. But do not underestimate them. Predators adapt when they must. So what's your advice? Strike hard and unexpectedly, Ba said. Show them that humans are not prey. We are hunters too. As the launch date approached, the final piece of the plan fell into place. In a secure facility beneath the UN headquarters, Intelligence Officer Kang Ta supervised the installation of Earth's most advanced AI system. HFY is ready for integration with the fleet, Kang reported to Admiral Kim. She'll coordinate our tactical responses faster than any human could. The AI's holographic interface glowed softly in the center of the room, a sphere of light that pulsed as it processed information. HFY. Kim addressed the AI directly. Are you prepared for this mission? The sphere flashed as a calm female voice replied. I have analyzed all available data on the Void Stalkers. I have run 10,783 battle simulations. I am ready to serve. She'll give us another edge the Stalkers won't expect, Kang added. The day of departure arrived. Earth's orbital space was filled with ships, the human fleet ready to embark on humanity's first interstellar war. On the ground, millions watched on screens as their defenders prepared to leave. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Admiral Kim stood before his officers. The moment felt heavy with history. Today, we carry the hopes of not just Earth, but of 17 other civilizations, he said. The Coalition came to us because in all the galaxy, they saw something special in humans. Not our technology, not our numbers, but our spirit. He looked at each face before him. Captain Yoon at her command station, Colonel Na reviewing tactical displays, Dr. Park with her biological countermeasures, Engineer Choi monitoring the new systems, and General Ba standing tall despite his years. Humanity has often wondered if we are alone in the universe, Kim continued. Now we know we are not. And we know that we have something to offer. Our courage, our determination, and yes, our skill in warfare. He turned to the view screen showing Earth below them. We go to fight so that others may live in peace. We go to show the Void Stalkers that the age of their unchallenged hunting is over. Prepare for FTL jump, ordered Captain Yoon. The fleet's engines hummed with Coalition technology. The stars ahead seemed to stretch as space itself bent to human will. For Earth and the Coalition, Kim said, forward. In a flash of light, the Aegis fleet vanished from Earth's sky, racing toward humanity's first battle among the stars. The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a flash of light. Before them stretched the Rigel Expanse, a vast region of space filled with stars, asteroids, and now war. Admiral Kim stood on the bridge of the Dauntless, taking in the scene displayed on the main view screen. Coalition ships moved in disorganized patterns, desperately trying to escape Void Stalker vessels that pursued them like wolves after deer. Signal from Coalition Command, reported the communications officer. A moment later, the face of Fleet Director Mokval appeared on screen. The alien's eyes widened at the sight of Admiral Kim. You came, Mokval said, relief clear in his voice. We feared you might be too late. What's the situation? Kim asked. The Rigel colony is under attack. 15,000 civilians are trapped. Our ships can't break through the stalker blockade. The alien's voice trembled. We've never seen them commit so many ships to one attack. Kim turned to Colonel Na. They must sense the colony is weak. Predators always go for the easy kill. Then let's show them we're not easy, Ne replied. Captain Yun Mai sat in her command chair as the Dauntless led a squadron of 5 ships toward the colony. Void stalker vessels detected, announced her tactical officer. 12 ships moving to intercept. They've spotted us, Yun said calmly, just as we planned. She opened a channel to the other ships in her group. Remember your training. Don't form a line like the Coalition does. Use pattern Hydra. Spread out and approach from multiple angles. On her screen, Yun watched as the human ships split into different directions. The stalker vessels seemed confused, slowing their approach as they tried to decide which threats to pursue first. They've never seen this formation, Colonel Ne observed from her station. They don't know how to respond. Fire decoys, ordered Yun. Small drones launched from the human ships, each one designed by Dr. Park, to emit the electrical signatures that void stalkers could detect. Suddenly, instead of 5 human ships, the stalker sensors showed dozens of potential targets. They're splitting up to chase the decoys, Ne reported with satisfaction. Now, Yun said firmly, all ships, attack pattern Sierra. The human vessels suddenly changed course, charging directly at the now separated stalker ships. Rail guns fired, sending hypervelocity rounds slamming into stalker shields. The modified Coalition energy weapons followed, striking with more power than the stalkers had ever experienced from their peaceful enemies. 2 stalker ships exploded almost immediately. A third spun out of control, its engines damaged. They're trying to regroup, Ne called out, watching the tactical display. But it was too late. The human attack had been too fast, too coordinated, and completely unexpected. Within minutes, the remaining stalker ships turned and fled. Should we pursue? Yun asked. Admiral Kim, watching from the Dauntless, shook his head. No, our priority is the colony. Let them run and tell their leaders what just happened. On the colony surface, Coalition civilians watched in awe as human shuttles landed in the central plaza. Colonel Ne led the first team out, her soldiers moving with a precision that the Coalition people had never seen before. An elderly alien approached Na. You are from Earth. Yes, Ne replied. We're here to evacuate you to safety. The alien's large eyes blinked in surprise. You fought off the stalkers. No one has ever done that before. Na smiled slightly. Well, no one had tried humans before. Back on the Dauntless, Engineer Choi studied the data from their first engagement. Their shields are strong, but not designed to handle our railguns, he reported to Admiral Kim. The impact velocity overwhelms them. Can we improve our weapons further? Kim asked. Choi nodded. I've been studying the debris from the destroyed stalker ships. Their hull material is sensitive to specific frequencies. If we modify our missiles to vibrate at those frequencies on impact, we could do even more damage. How long will it take? 24 hours, Kim nodded. Do it. In her lab aboard the Dauntless, Dr. Park Hannah examined a captured piece of stalker technology, a sensor array recovered from the damaged ship. Fascinating, she murmured. Their sensory system is even more specialized than I thought. She tapped on her tablet, making notes. They can detect the smallest electrical signals, but they're completely blind to certain wavelengths of light. Admiral Kim, who had come to check on her progress, raised an eyebrow. Can we use that? Absolutely, Park replied with excitement. If we coat our ships with materials that absorb those wavelengths, we could approach much closer before they detect us. Intelligence Officer Kang worked with ATHENA to analyze the battle data. There's a pattern to their movements, Kang said, pointing to the screen where the AI had mapped the stalker ship's actions. They move in groups of 3, always maintaining communication with each other. Like a hunting pack, Admiral Kim observed. Exactly, Kang agreed. But more than that, there's almost no delay in their responses. When one ship changes course, the others adjust instantly. A hive mind, Kim suggested. Athena's voice responded, 97% probability of shared consciousness or instantaneous communication network. Kang nodded. If we can disrupt that network, they'll be fighting blind, Kim finished. Over the next week, the human fleet moved deeper into coalition space, engaging stalker forces in a series of hit-and-run attacks. They never stayed in one place long enough for the stalkers to bring their full force to bear. After each skirmish, Colonel Na would analyze the enemy's response. They're trying to adapt, she reported during a war council. Their formations are changing. They're learning. But not fast enough, General Bai Jin added. They'd spent too long as the only predator in this part of space. They don't know how to be prey. Admiral Kim studied the star map showing their progress. It's time to stop testing them and start hitting them where it hurts. He outlined his plan. Operation Thunderclap. A coordinated strike across 3 sectors simultaneously. This is bold, Captain Yoon commented. Splitting our forces could be risky. The stalkers have never faced an enemy that attacks rather than defends, Kim explained. They won't expect us to take the offensive. General Bai nodded in approval. Hit them hard enough, and even predators will consider finding easier prey. 3 days later, Operation Thunderclap began. The human fleet, now divided into 3 battle groups, struck stalker supply lines and outposts across a wide front. The attacks were precisely timed, giving the stalkers no chance to reinforce any single location. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Admiral Kim watched the reports coming in from all 3 battle groups. Battle Group Alpha reports success. 2 stalker supply depots destroyed. Battle Group Beta has disabled the stalker relay station in the Taurus sector. Battle Group Gamma has engaged a stalker patrol fleet. 3 enemy vessels destroyed, no human casualties. For the first time since they had entered coalition space, Kim allowed himself a small smile. The tide is turning, he said quietly. Captain Yoon, standing beside him, nodded. They'd never experienced defeats like this. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. Large stalker force detected, called out the tactical officer. They're converging on our position from multiple vectors. How many? Kim demanded. At least 20 ships, sir. Bigger than any we've faced so far. Kim's expression hardened. They've adapted faster than we expected. They're concentrating their forces. Sir, Captain Yoon said urgently, we should regroup with the other battle groups. No time, Kim replied. They'd never reach us before the stalkers arrive. He turned to his communications officer. Send word to the other groups to continue their missions. We'll handle this. As the first stalker ships appeared on the view screen, their dark hulls standing out against the starfield, Kim felt a strange mix of concern and pride. Concern for the battle ahead, but pride that humanity had forced such a powerful enemy to change its tactics. They're learning, he said to Colonel Na. But so are we. The bridge crew braced themselves as the Dauntless turned to face the oncoming stalker fleet. The real test of humanity's warfare capabilities was about to begin. The Dauntless shook as another stalker weapon hit its shields. On the bridge, Admiral Kim gripped his chair to stay upright. Shield status, he called out. 60% and holding, reported Officer Han. But we can't take many more direct hits like that one. Around the Dauntless, the human ships moved in complex patterns, avoiding the worst of the stalker attacks while landing hits of their own. But they were outnumbered. For every stalker ship they damage, 2 more seemed to appear. They've learned from our earlier battles, Colonel Ney observed, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. They're not splitting up anymore. They're staying together, focusing their fire. Kim nodded grimly. Even predators adapt when they must. The ship rocked again. A console exploded in sparks, and a crew member was thrown to the floor. Captain Yoon helped the injured officer up and called for a medical team. "Admiral," Yoon said, returning to her station, "we need to try something they won't expect." Kim considered their options. The stalkers were boxing them in, cutting off escape routes one by one. They needed a bold move. "Athena," Kim addressed the AI. "Can you identify any pattern in their attack sequence?" The AI's voice was calm amid the chaos. "Analysis complete. The stalker ships move in 3 layers. Outer ring for containment, middle ring for suppression fire, inner core for killing blows. The inner core ships are their most valuable assets." "Then that's what we target," Kim decided. "All ships, focus fire on these coordinates. Hit them with everything we have." The human fleet responded instantly. Rail guns, energy weapons, and missiles all converged on the 3 ships at the center of the stalker formation. The sudden concentration of firepower overwhelmed the lid ship's shields. It exploded in a ball of flame and debris. The stalker formation faltered. The remaining ships seemed confused, their coordinated movements becoming erratic. "Their command network is disrupted," HFY reported. 86% probability that the destroyed vessel contained a control node. "Press the advantage," Kim ordered. "Don't let them regroup." The human ships surged forward, targeting the disorganized stalkers. For several minutes, the battle shifted in humanity's favor. 3 more stalker ships were destroyed, then a 4th. But then, something changed. The stalker ships pulled back, creating distance. A massive new vessel appeared from behind a nearby moon, at least 3 times the size of any stalker ship they had seen before. "What is that?" Yoon whispered. "A high ship," Kim realized. "The command center for this entire sector." Before they could react, the high ship emitted a pulse of energy. The retreating stalker vessels instantly regained their coordination, moving once again as a single deadly unit. "We can't match that firepower," Colonel Na said, her voice steady despite the dire situation. Kim opened a channel to the entire fleet. "All ships, defensive formation. Protect the Dauntless. We're going to make a tactical retreat." As the human fleet began to pull back, fighting every step of the way, a new signal came through. "Admiral," the communications officer called out. "Message from Earth." Kim felt a surge of hope. "Put it through." The face of Secretary Lee appeared on screen. "Admiral, reinforcements are on the way. The experimental vessel Prometheus has just entered your sector. Captain 1 has command." Kim had heard rumors of the Prometheus, a ship built in secret, using the most advanced coalition technology combined with human ingenuity. But he'd never expected to see it deployed so soon. "What capabilities does it have?" Kim asked urgently. "You'll see soon enough," Lee replied with a rare smile. "Just try to keep your fleet alive for 10 more minutes." 10 minutes felt like an eternity in space combat. The human fleet retreated in good order, but 2 smaller ships had already been lost. The Dauntless itself had taken heavy damage to its port side. Repair crews worked frantically to keep systems online. 5 stalker ships breaking through our defensive line, Nay reported, her voice tight with tension. "Reroute power to forward shields," Yoon ordered. Just as the stalkers closed in for the kill, space itself seemed to ripple. A massive ship appeared, sleek and dangerous, unlike anything in the human or coalition fleets. "The Prometheus," Kim breathed. Without hesitation, the new ship launched a barrage of weapons at the approaching stalkers. But these weren't ordinary weapons. Where they struck, space itself seemed to twist and distort. 2 stalker ships were caught in the effect. Their hulls crumpled like paper as gravitational forces tore them apart from the inside. "What was that?" Colonel Nay asked, her professional composure slipping for a moment. "Gravitational manipulation," Engineer Choi answered, staring at his readings in awe. "They've weaponized the same technology that powers the FTL drives." A new voice came over the communication system. "Admiral Kim, this is Captain 1 of the Prometheus. Sorry we're late to the party." Kim couldn't help but smile. "Your timing is perfect, Captain. Care to introduce us to your new friend?" The Prometheus carries Earth's most advanced weapon system, the Gravitational Disruption Array. Coalition scientists helped us develop it, though they never imagined this application. The tide of battle shifted dramatically. The stalker ships could not defend against weapons that attacked the fabric of space itself. Even their massive hive ship backed away, clearly reassessing the threat. "Admiral," Intelligence Officer Kang reported, "I'm detecting unusual activity from the hive ship. They're transmitting on all frequencies." "They want to talk," Kim realized. "Put it through." The main screen flickered, and for the first time, humanity saw the face of their enemy. The Void Stalker was insectoid, with compound eyes and mandibles that clicked as it spoke. Its voice, translated by coalition technology, was harsh and rattling. "Human vessels, you fight differently, not like prey." "We are not prey," Kim replied firmly. "We never were." The stalker's mandibles clicked rapidly. "For 1,000 cycles, we have hunted the weak. The coalition species never fought back effectively. But you are like us. Hunters." "We're defending those who cannot defend themselves," Kim corrected. "And will continue to do so unless you withdraw from coalition space permanently." The creature seemed to consider this. "Why protect them? They are not your kind." "Because that's what humans do," Kim answered. "We stand up for those who need help." There was a long silence. Then the stalker spoke again. "We will withdraw to discuss these developments, but this is not over, humans. We will meet again." The screen went dark. Slowly, the stalker fleet began to pull back, the hive ship leading the retreat. Colonel Ney looked skeptical. "Can we trust them to leave?" "No," Kim said, "but we've shown them that attacking the coalition now means facing humanity. That gives us time to prepare for whatever comes next." 3 weeks later, Admiral Kim stood in the Great Hall of the Coalition's Central World. Representatives from all 17 species filled the vast chamber. At the center, the Coalition High Council presented him with their highest honor. "For the first time in our history, the Void Stalkers have retreated," announced High Counselor Renzar. "The human fleet has achieved what we thought impossible." Admiral Kim accepted the honor with a bow. "This was only the beginning," he said. "The Stalkers will return, but next time, we'll be ready." He looked out at the assembled aliens, then at his human officers standing proudly in their uniforms. Captain Yoon, Colonel Na, Dr. Park, Engineer Choi, and the others who had fought so bravely. "Humanity came to the stars wondering if we would find friends or enemies," Kim continued. "We found both. But more importantly, we found our place. Earth is no longer alone. We stand with the coalition, and together, we will build a safer galaxy for all our peoples." As applause filled the hall, Kim's thoughts turned to the future. Earth ships were already being built with coalition technology. Coalition worlds were learning human military tactics, and somewhere out in the darkness of space, the Void Stalkers were rethinking everything they knew about hunting. The next encounter would be different. The predators had become prey, and humanity had shown the galaxy that sometimes the most powerful force wasn't advanced technology or overwhelming numbers. Sometimes it was simply the unwavering human spirit, the determination to stand and fight when others would flee. And that spirit, Kim knew, was humanity's greatest gift to the stars. On the observation deck of the Dauntless, Colonel Ney stood with Dr. Park, looking out at the unfamiliar stars. "Do you think they'll come back?" Park asked quietly. Na nodded. "Predators don't give up easily, but neither do we." "It's strange," Park mused. "All our history, all our wars on Earth, they prepared us for this moment without us knowing it. And now the galaxy knows what humans are capable of." Ney added. As they watched, a coalition ship passed by, its crew visible through the viewports. The aliens raised their hands in salute to the human vessel. Ney and Park returned the gesture with smiles. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors, not as the strongest or most advanced, but as protectors. And in that role, they had finally found a use for their long, complicated history of warfare to ensure peace for all.